it's growing out, Chase?
You know, I've been getting extensions.
It looks good.
We're live. We're talking about my extensions. We are back. We had Tuesday technical. We had technical difficulties. Facebook locked me out. We had to do some verification, but we're back. Galen's been all over the country per usual. Nashville last week. How long were you in DC for?
I got there on Sunday, rolled into my bed at 3 a.m. Monday morning because of the bad weather out there. And then I was at meetings at 8 a.m. and went all day Monday and Tuesday, and then flew back late Tuesday because my flight got canceled on Wednesday. And so here I be.
It's like Johnny Cash, that Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere,
man.
I know. And you left out I was in Phoenix, but you were having a baby.
Yeah.
Or anyway, was.
In the last week, we welcomed a new child to the world. Never, ever on my bingo card did I see 3 daughters. But here we are. Couldn't be happier. Happy, healthy family. And I'm a girl dad. And
you're in good company. My dad was a girl dad.
Oh, I love it. I love it. The word on the street.
And 3 girls.
Yep. Word on the street is I'm done now. And we said I'm cut off. Yep.
Oh, well, I don't think you're cut off. You may be cut off of children.
Yeah, there we go. We have cut off of children. There we go. Changing gears. The title of today is Protect Your Gig. Galen, what do we mean by that?
Well, okay, y'all. Chase and I, we don't do this where we prep 30 minutes before we get on. Like literally, I dialed in at 2. And it was like, what are we calling this? And I was like, well, I was in DC last week. And, I saw all these people marching the hill, trying to keep Medicare Advantage viable, talking about commissions, talking about Medicare sub, talking about ACA subsidies, all that stuff. And I told Chase the other day, I was like, well, I get why we're all here. And yes, we need to be here and we need to be doing what we're doing. I said, Chase, isn't it a great day that you and I already know how to protect our gig? We diversified a long time ago. And so when one thing falls to the side, you're not going, you've got a stable business.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of what we want to talk to you guys about today. But before we go there, I got to give kudos, shout out to your amazing team. It seems like it was like a month ago, but it was really only.
It really does feel like a month ago. It does. You're so right.
Yes. I mean, we've had a baby. You've had a baby. I've been everywhere, man. But it's been, that team knocked it out of the park. I cannot tell you how. Well, I did tell you this the other day when you and I had a quick chat when we had our technical difficulties. But there were so many agents that walked up to me in DC and said, man, I needed another hour of you, Galen, on the Coach G thing. I could have went all day just listening to y'all tell us nuggets of how to do it, all the great stuff that was coming on. And, we just got so many compliments on all of it. And I wasn't even included on day 2, and I was hearing compliments on day 2. So, your team there, they deserve a ton of praise. I get to work with a lot of great people, as you know. I include my own team in that. We have a great team as well. But man, just always taking care of us and making sure we were, hydrated and fed and ready to go. And because we worked, they worked me, y'all.
I'm telling you, that's one of the hardest things that I'm sure people that are watching this resonate with. I mean, when I had a long sales day, when I had 8, 9, 10 calls, it is exhausting. And when you're speaking and training and teaching, it is mentally exhausting. And just publicly, I've said it a million times, but I can't say enough. Thank you for coming. And my team was the first time they really got to work with you. Yeah. And it's like, they're all just fired up. They're like, Galen is so fun. She's such a BAMF. You can decide how you want to use that acronym. But she's just so much fun, and I just feel like we're a great team and had a lot of fun. And that's what's cool about those events is we had over 20 new members join our platform. But I had the most fun I've ever had over 2 days. When you're having fun, you're being yourself. I said this is when you are authentically yourself and you teach from a place of serving not only the agents, but helping your agents serve the industry. People see that authentically and want to be a part of it. So I'm really excited about the future. I think we're talking about doing some events down in your neck of the woods.
Yes.
Texas. And I think these are going to be some big time events because what we're talking about here, Protect Your Gig, portfolio diversity. I mean, we looked at some of our numbers and it shocked me to see them on the screen. But our top 5 products, 4 of those products right now are ancillary products. Our biggest revenue generating product right now is recovery care. Is short-term.
I'm telling you, I looked at those slides. I think people are amazed when I go to these things because, look, a lot of people after they do their spiel, they leave or they walk off and they're on their phones or they're in the hallway. I stayed in the room the entire time. I didn't go anywhere because I learned so much when I'm in the room. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves with carriers is they come in, and I'll give Mariana DeMoss.
I was going to say Mariana was locked.
Mariana Jones.
Locked in. Wallaby.
Yeah. She'll be mad for me using the other name, but that's how I met her and that's how I still refer to her. But she stayed, man. She soaks it in. And I tell you what, one of the best compliments I get is when a carrier goes, golly, nobody was talking except you and Chase and team. Everybody was listening. They weren't on their phones, and I was impressed with how many people rushed out to get lunch and came back.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have been gone 15, 20 minutes. And some of them were peeved because they couldn't get their lunch and get back in time. And then we stayed after 5 to talk to those people, because I think what is really important, and it goes along with protecting your gig, you guys were there because, and y'all heard me say it, so I'll say it again. We use the term scale way too much with independent agents. First of all, as a woman, I don't like the word scale. I'm just going to tell you anyway. But we should be talking about how we build. When you take better care of your client, and then that family of that client becomes your client too, that was one of the things your team was blown away with, because they came up and goes, gosh, I didn't think about who helps you make your financial decisions and start getting their business too. And, all that great stuff. But that's why you want to collaborate with people, because I'm sitting there, we call it package of protection. Coach G calls it umbrella, but it's the same concept.
Yep.
And I loved when Travis stood up there and says, hey, we will not sell a Med Advantage client any plan without an umbrella package.
Yep.
We just won't do it. And I was like, praise the Lord. I mean, if there was praise music in that room, I'd have been jumping up and down and screaming amen. Hallelujah. Because I can't tell you how long I've been preaching that. And other than people just in my intimate circle, nobody gets that.
Right.
That's what protects your gig. That's what protects your client, because now your client's going to tell their friends, their family, what Chase did for them, what Travis did for them, what Chris did for them, on and on and on. And then when you add that in with Coach G's system, and then your referral base coming, that's when it becomes predictable. Because referrals, I love that, is not going to be predictable. It's just not, you guys. And here's another thing I stole from Chase, and I'm proud to say I stole it. I've always said, get 3 no's and move on to the next. Coach G has this, you're going to get them to commit or object. And it's the same thing, y'all. But it's crazy how you can just change a word and everybody can relate to it. So, like, there were older people in our crowd and older people on the virtual going, I'm more used to the 3 no thing. And then I would have younger people come up and go, man, I love that commit or object. You know, it's all the same, but until you start using one or the other, you're going to stay at 0. You're the person that Chase and I have got to get to commit or object if you're watching this, because you're not on task. You're not doing right by your clients. You're not asking the hard questions. And that's why you freak out when there's one comp change, as you should, on a Med Advantage or an ACA. I'm a big believer that none of these changes should be made after October 1st, because you're already in the weeds. You're already enrolling people. And that's what I went to 5 for this last week. But if they do that, the people that I'm coaching, the people Chase is coaching, we're not freaking out like the other people. Our hair doesn't look like Einstein because we're okay. We've got other products on our people. We've already diversified. And I think that by you watching this is where you've got to get right with yourself. And that's what's great about Coach G's system, and mine to a lesser degree or to a greater degree. I don't know which way. Maybe the same.
To a different degree. We're saying the same thing, just different, and it resonates with a lot of people.
We just teach it. Well, we teach a lot the same. It's just some of you are going to follow one path, some of you are going to follow another. But the idea is to follow.
Yeah.
Follow.
And I was working, I had a call with an agency yesterday, a very large agency, about 7,000 clients. And
wow.
And we were going over, they're a partner of ours too. We were going over like what is the biggest opportunity here in the first quarter?
Lowest hanging fruit,
biggest opportunity. Like what could move the needle? We talked about moving the needle. Nadell.
Y'all should go back and watch that one, by the way.
Yeah, the Nelde mover. So we talked about the biggest needle mover, and it was their current book of business. I mean, they could go out and spend money and get leads or try to acquire new clients. Or what we landed on is we are building out a campaign to automate their current book of business, where we're going back to all 6,000 of those clients and letting them know, hey, you've got a Medicare Advantage plan. You need to be aware of the exposures, and we don't recommend you go with that Medicare Advantage plan without umbrella protection or a package of protection. And you've run the numbers on that, 6,000 clients. Let's just say 10% of those convert to an ancillary. 10%, which is absolutely minimal. That's 600 ancillary policies. 30%, which is a average number, 1,800 ancillary policies. You get where I'm going with that.
Well, don't forget that HI Select with Manhattan Life just doubled comp.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the good news that Chase and I bring to y'all. Because a lot of y'all don't look at your comp schedules because you're not writing those plans.
I look at the comp schedules, Galen. Trust me.
Me too, brother.
Yep.
Me too. Because what I do is hard, and what you do is hard.
I mean, let's talk about that real quick. On a street comp, competitive cancer products right now on a street comp, I want to say streets around 70 with most carriers.
Well, it runs from 50 to 70, but Aetna's paying 80 street.
Okay. Aetna, for example, 80 on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say you wrote $100,000 of cancer premium this year, an extra $80,000 in revenue for coverage that people absolutely need. Because if you're watching this, I know for a fact you know somebody that's had cancer. I know you know how that's affected them. And Mythbuster here, Medicare does not cover everything when it comes to cancer, and certainly not under 65 insurance.
It's like I told our government representatives last week or this week. I got to remember it's still this week. You know what? These seniors do not have Cadillac coverage like y'all do. Y'all are our employees, and we provide you the best health insurance known to man. But our seniors on Medicare, they do not have Cadillac plans. They have out-of-pocket exposure, and the biggest out-of-pocket exposure for a senior on a Med Advantage plan and or a Medicare supplement is cancer. And let me tell you how that works. And the next one is skilled nursing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was glad we brought that up at the Coach G playbook. I even used the right terminology.
There it is.
I did. I'm getting good. I could be a good employee. But I will tell you that what happens is people don't have it right. They don't know what skilled nursing really is needed for. And they're in this industry selling these policies. So they have no idea when they are told you're going to need 20 days or 30 days or 50 days of skilled nursing, what their basic health insurance does. And if the agent doesn't know, how on earth is the client going to know? Now, I know you have this, Chase, because we talked about it. But right here in my office is this book. Every year I look at that to see what the changes are going to be on skilled nursing. Well, we challenged agents to go look at certifications. They couldn't find anything on AHIP about skilled nursing. So if you are just selling Med Advantage and you're not looking at this book, you can't sell short-term recovery care because you don't know anything about it.
And I've got a quick story on that. My client who, how do I say this? I'm just going to say it, the truth. Her daughter is my nanny. She watches my kids.
Okay.
Her mother is 80 years old and just found out she had a fall, just found out that she was not able to pass 3 of the 6 ADLs. Okay. And first thing she does, come to me, we talk about it. And they're saying, hey, she needs to go to permanent assisted living. Thank God she had a long-term care plan in place for 20 years. Just one of those ones you never want to let go of.
Yes.
Right? It's got 600.
I call it the Ritz-Carlton of long-term care.
It really is. It's got $600,000 bucket in it.
Wow.
But they're looking here in the Nashville area at facilities. You can't find one for under $10,000 a month. You can't. And it's like, let's flip that around. What if she didn't have that?
Yeah.
I didn't talk about that with her. Her mom now is exposed to $10,000 a month with no plan. And most of your clients out there, that's exactly what's happening. Guess what our top product is right now? Our top product
recovery care
is recovery care, because we know how important that is and what that exposure, it is the absolute biggest exposure that your client will have.
Do you have some time for some stats?
Let's hear it.
I posted this on Facebook today, and I said, if you are 50 years of age or older, you need this. It blew up on my social media today, like just went crazy. And most of it was agents wanting help in selling it. But listen to this: nursing home care, semi-private room, approximately $9,300 per month. Private room, approximately $10,650 per month.
Jeez.
Assisted living, approximately $5,900 per month. Memory care, which y'all is in addition to nursing home care. I don't know if y'all know that. I think we need to create a CE course where every agent has to visit a Medicaid nursing home and ask the admissions coordinator what's the number one reason for not getting admitted. And that person will tell you lack of money and no long-term care insurance and no Medicaid beds. Those are the answers. You can solve all that for your client for $1 a day.
$1 a day? That stuck in my head over the weekend.
Memory care, approximately $6,100 to $7,500 per month, typically 20 to 30% higher than assisted living due to specialized staffing and security. Security. Why? Because they get up and leave in the middle of the night. In-home long-term care, part-time home health aid. Manhattan Life has a great home health care, y'all. Where's the 4-letter H word people want to be taken care of? Not hell.
Oh.
Home. In-home long-term care, part-time home health aid, 40 plus hours a week. Now you need them longer than 40 hours, y'all. Just going to tell you, approximately $6,500 per month, 24/7 in-home care, $18,000 to $25,000 per month.
Wow.
Crazy. And I got all of that off of ChatGPT today.
Chat Girl. Also, I learned about Chat Girl. Galen calls ChatGPT Chat Girl.
I do.
Chat Girl would never lie to us, ever.
Well, and after I went through my integrity training last week, after being there, now I have to come up with a name because we use Copilot. So now I'm going to have my Co-Chat Girl or something, Co-Chat Pilot Girl or something. But I like Chat Girl.
Yeah.
I just think it sounds really cool because when you read, here's what he's talking about.
We're in the hospital talking about Chat Girl. I kid you not.
This is where y'all need to come to our next playbook. This is kind of the stuff we talk about. We make it fun for y'all too. But when I go out on the road and I'm by myself, ChatGPT and Siri, they're my friends. So I told the audience that I call, hey, look, my phone thinks I'm talking to her. My phone, I go, hey, Chat Girl. And I get all my information out of ChatGPT like that. So, because it's free, right? So when I was reading it to our audience about some stuff I found, we had some agents that were Debbie Downers and negative Neds in the room talking about $1 million, ACA claims. And I go, well, that's not what Chat Girl says. This is what she said. And I read what the average claim was before negotiation, and it was $50,000. And I asked the room, we had 70 people there, I think it was. I said, how many of you guys, and we asked the virtual people this too, how many of y'all have had $1 million claim? How many hands did we have go up in the room, Chase?
Should have been nothing. Nobody.
0. How many of y'all have had a $40,000 claim like I'm talking about? 0. Agents were so caught up on this. And then Travis Beelines for me, who does Coach G's training. And he says, that's the way you get people on the phone. You ask them that question. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all, this is not complicated. It's conversation. One of the things I just told a group is I said, listen up. None of y'all's moms or dads should be putting money in your bank account. But somebody's mom or dad or grandma or grandpa is putting money in your bank account. So how would you want them treated? How would you want their children treated? Every one of those adult children you should know. You should be asking, who helps you with your financial decisions? If you're in the hospital, who's going to be looking at your bank account? What's their name? What's their phone number? What's their email? That way, if you go in the hospital and they need something, I know it's okay to speak to them. Plus, you're building another client because they trust you, because you're doing the right thing. Some of y'all got to get out of y'all's comfort zone. That's why your gig's not protected. You are just in a comfort zone. You're sitting in the Barcalounger and never getting up out of that chair.
And I also think, I'm looking at our internal agency, our LOA team. They're on fire this week. I've got 7 agents that have written over 10 applications this week.
Crazy. And how many of those are new?
They're all new. Every single one of them is new.
See?
Yep. This is all of our business is new business off of T65.
It's because they're not jaded.
But we have one agent though, and he's noticeably fallen behind. And it occurred to me yesterday. I said, Mr. Jones, we'll use Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, do you believe in the product? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know. And that's the problem, is you don't have education around the product. You don't believe in it. And you're never going to sell something you don't have knowledge, belief, or conviction, right?
Right.
Conviction provides clarity. Clarity allows you to sell with confidence. Confidence equals success. So that's a baseline for this thing, is you've got to understand the product and really understand what's happening. What is the exposure you're leaving them with if you don't have it? Saturday, we have this young LOA team, and we have these young guys that are sub 25, no girlfriend, no whatever. They just like to work, right?
So fun.
They're fun. It's the atmosphere is incredible. But we got this team that works on Saturday. They wrote 25 applications between like 3 or 4 of them on Saturday. 24 of those 25 applications were not Medicare. They were ancillary necessary policies, cancer, heart, stroke, recovery care, because we, just like everybody else, we have people that are continuing to work. And I hear it time and time again, well, they're still working. I can't do anything. Well, they still have major exposure. They still have deductibles, out-of-pockets, co-payments, and they're still going to be going to Medicare at some point. This coverage is not going to get any less expensive for them. It's your job to make the recommendation, and then they commit or they object. Yep. So I can't say enough. If you're having these issues of knowledge, confidence, clarity, that's what Galen and I are here for. That's what our platform provides. That's what Galen's platform and training provides. You've got to, instead of saying, how do I do this? You got to start running towards who?
I think we're the dynamic duo.
I agree.
Now, I won't be dressing in tights and a back cape, but that's off the limits.
Yeah.
But I do think what we've got to focus in on, and this is what I want everybody to take away from these calls, is there's always a right way to do your job. And we're only going to teach that. What a lot of you are doing, though, is choosing the hard way to do the right thing. There is an easy way to do the right thing. We say in this office, it's always easier to do the right thing. It just is.
I love that.
So when you're talking to your clients, the only way you're going to know what's going on with them, we were talking about annuity leads being in the mix at the playbook. But the only way you find out about those things is that your client sees you as somebody that's truly concerned about their welfare. One of the things that I told the people I talked to this week is I said, listen, you guys are so caught up in fighting ACA or fighting MedAdvantage, and it's like an episode of The Parent Trap. They're twin sisters. They're just looking at each other, and y'all are drawing a line in the sand. That's not what our clients need. Our clients need protection during their golden years. And the biggest problem that we face with our clients is there is no advocacy for our seniors in Washington for what they really, truly need. Having Dr. Oz in that place is helpful because he's pro-agent. But the biggest problem is that they don't really get what all Medicare does, and more importantly, doesn't do. Our job is to coach our clients on their plan. So when you take out their plan, it's like when you're buying a car. It still cracks me up that you guys will buy the most top of the line comprehensive coverage on a vehicle, but you won't buy the top of the line coverage for the person who drives the vehicle. And when I am looking at that, that means I've got to think like a property and casualty agent. And I want to take their base product and go, this is great health insurance. But there's a lot of exposure to you financially that we need to take care of before you go into the hospital. Because with you being a male, you have a 1 out of 2 chance. I mean, you got a 50% chance of getting cancer. 1 out of 2 men are going to be diagnosed with it. Because you're over 50, 87% of cancers are diagnosed in people ages 50 and older. And in your plan right here, you've got no out-of-pocket coverage for cancer. The other thing I don't see, unless you've got it hidden somewhere, is I see no life insurance here. And the worst thing you can do to your adult children is get the news your mom or dad died, and then you've got to pay for their funeral. Well, if they just built their 401k up to $10,000 and now they're depleting it when they could have paid $1 a day and covered you, maybe they prefer to do that instead of depleting their retirement savings accounts for something you should have prepared for. And then finally, I don't see anything here for your long-term care because your plan does not pay for any long-term skilled nursing starting with day 21. So what do you have in place for that? Is it missing? It's just not here? And then you'll see a person's face and you'll hear it on the phone if you're in phone sales. You'll say, well, it sounds like to me that the original agent that placed you in this product was only worried about the health insurance component. They weren't worried about the gotcha moments. That's what my job is.
I love that.
My job is to protect your assets.
And I think one thing you touched on there, final expense. I mean, we're seeing a significant uptick in our final expense production. And it's one of those things like, are you truly doing your job if we're not educating, protecting, and offering that? Because people may not want to use their hard-earned retirement savings for the final expenses. And people may not have a plan.
One out of one die.
Yeah. We all know we're going.
I mean, that was pretty prolific in the playbook too. When I put up the get convicted slide, and do you have these products on yourself? I know Travis was like, that's a great training tool and all agents need to have all these products on themselves. Our marketers have the Hospital Indemnity Select on all of themselves and they pay for it themselves because they see the value in it. And I think it's really important to understand, guys, it's kind of like the State of the Union, right? You're always going to have somebody that doesn't like something. But there is one thing I know for a fact. A person will never be mad at you for preparing them against something horrible.
No one's ever been upset when we've delivered a $40,000, $50,000 cancer check. I promise you that.
Never. And so it's your job. And I think that is a really, what am I trying to say? I think that's a really big misconception is that, and I've got somebody texting me asking about which carrier plan are you talking about for $1 a day? All of them start at $1 a day. It's how you design it that makes it more than $1 a day. Or you waited too long and they're too much older to write them a plan right now. I mean, the truth of the matter is the younger you get them, the more stable the rate and you draw renewals longer. I really believe you should be getting all your customers at age 50. And
there's so many products right now on the short-term care side that offer prescription reimbursement that if used and positioned correctly, it really is $1 a day or less for a recovery care product that can cover a couple $100,000 of exposure.
100%.
So those can be, the way you can position those and use those, I'm telling you, they've gotten so darn good.
Because carriers are starting to listen to agents. They're starting to. Here's the deal, you guys. If you've not ever read the book MacArthur or watched the movie Patton, you should. And believe me, those were not movies I wanted to watch. My husband's military. I was made to watch them, but they taught me something. MacArthur made a comment one time. I will always make sure that those boys, because that's how it was back then, those boys on the front line are equipped to do their job. because I do not want to have to talk to any more parents than I have to tell them that their boy was lost at war. And that made an impact on me and my business because I was like, all my agents and me are on the front line. We're the ones delivering. We're the ones getting the clients. We're the ones that are putting ourselves out there. These carriers have got to listen to me as to what I need for my client. And so I took that as my personal mission to voice back, I don't like your plan. It's not a good plan. It doesn't do what I need it to do for my clients. And then when my mom had to be put into a Medicaid facility, I really learned what short-term recovery care was all about. And I learned about all the gotcha moments. Everything I teach, I've been through personally. Mm-hmm. And when you've gone through it personally, it's a new mindset. But you don't necessarily have to go through it. You have to talk to somebody that's been through it. And believe me, you feel that pain. So when you walk in those nursing homes and take them some cookies and say, hey, I just want to quiz you a little bit. I deal with seniors. I take care of their insurance. I want to understand what they're up against when they have to come into your facility. What are some things that you struggle with? Maybe we could partner together, because let me tell you something. That 50-year-old that's bringing her 72-year-old mother, which was me, and you're sitting there, you're all of a sudden realizing, oh, I need a plan that does that. I need a plan that does that. I know there has to be an insurance plan that does that. And you go right out that door and you write yourself that plan. That's why clients will buy from you, because you have the plan and you get paid commission on them. So if you don't have all these plans on yourself, that's mistake number one. I know when you're 25 years old and invincible and working on beer budget, that's one thing. I was 25 once too. Beer wasn't my thing, but hey, at the end of the day though.
I wonder what was your thing?
I can tell you, there is not anything with tequila I never liked until I got sick. But anyway, so another story for another day. But what I will tell you is that your clients are going to appreciate you doing that research for them, advocating for them, fighting for them. And if you try 3 times to get a no, and they finally just flat out said no, okay, well, you solved ignorance. When their adult child calls you and says, hey, how much life insurance do they have? You can honestly say, I really worked hard with them. I even asked for your number. I asked for your email address. We just didn't get it done. I'm so sorry. You'll get a client then, because they're not going to want that to happen to their kids.
But
so everything you do is easy. Huh?
I want to hit home on, like, if you're selling insurance, you need to have a cancer, heart, and stroke product on yourself. 100%. You need to have a hospital indemnity product on yourself. You should have some type of extended care or long-term annuity. I mean, I personally, when my wife left the corporate world, we rolled her 401k over to an annuity that was built for long-term accumulation for a couple different reasons. Because I believe in having a safe asset. We got a ton of different assets, but I believe in having a safe long-term asset. And I wanted to be able to show my clients, I can pull this out in front of my clients, say, I have this. Here's what it looks like. Here's the indexes I'm in, right? Which is a huge to be able to show this to the client. Yeah. And put my money where my mouth is. I have a $50,000 cancer, heart, and stroke product. I'll up to 75 here with my 3rd child, and then have a hospital admission policy because I have a major deductible on my own health insurance. So if you really want to have conviction in the product, start by buying it on yourself.
Yep. Well, family coverage on cancer plan is just the least inexpensive thing you'll buy, but it's the most important, especially when you've been in the Ronald McDonald House world like me. And what's crazy awesome is Reagan came into the world and she's already got a cancer, heart attack, and stroke policy.
Yeah. Well, we got to get it for her. I got to get on that this week.
If you got family coverage, you just got to get her name on there.
Well, I got to get her name on there still.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get her at.
But she's already.
Go over that. I don't want to skip over that, Galen. So family coverage.
Yep.
It's as simple as just adding on a new child on there, just adding the name
Yep.
on. The price doesn't
You
change.
just call up Aetna and you add them on. If you've already got the family coverage, just add them on. Here's the deal, you guys, and we probably should do just a cancer training, one of these upcoming podcasts. We just wanted to kind of see y'all, let y'all see us talk, but maybe we should do some of this product knowledge training as well. But here's the coolest thing ever about the Aetna Cancer Plan. First of all, it pays more comp than any of its competitors. Number two, writes more senior business than any, I hate to say this, but adding 2 or 3 of the other carriers together, Aetna still crushes it. Then when you add the youngest spouse first, you get a big discount. When you look at what it costs to add the family coverage onto a couple, it is like nothing. So I used to joke, because I don't think they're popular anymore. So I got to find a new one. But let's just talk about the Brady Bunch. I used to use the Duggar family. I used to say it doesn't matter if you got 1 or 13 like the Duggars. They're all covered up to $10,000 or whatever you bought. And so they come off when they turn 26. Well, you want to call that 26-year-old before they get the letter from Aetna, because they're going to get a letter from Aetna that they can continue their coverage for $5.42 a month. I'm going to go write that 26-year-old a $50,000 policy or a $75,000 policy, because I bought mine before I turned 30, and I've never had a rate increase on any of my cancer policies or any of my heart attack and stroke policies.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about that Aetna portfolio is I have not seen an increase on those products. I'm looking for a very specific report right now to see what our average Aetna producer is doing in ancillary production. And I can grab that. But
this will blow your mind.
Do you have something there? Or are you saying?
No,
what?
I'm just telling everybody to get ready. It'll blow their mind.
Once I can find it. While I'm finding this, Galen, I mean, what do you think prevents agents from writing this? What do you think the biggest thing you hear is that prevents agents from writing these products?
I just don't think they've been taught correctly.
Yeah.
I think they've aligned with FMO partners that are contract givers.
Yep.
And a lot of our
A lot of
agents
contract houses out there. They're just, that'll contract anybody with a heartbeat.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, anybody can, there's only so many levels of commission to give, right? You can only go so high. Everybody has the same contracts.
Yep.
So when compensation is the same, why would you not work with somebody that can actually support you and help you produce these products? I call that a dead contract. If it's sitting there and you're not producing on it and they're not showing you how to produce on it and there's no value provided for that contract, it's a dead contract. And I just don't understand why people would actually keep a contract somewhere where it's not being utilized and someone's not teaching you how to use it.
I echo that. And one of the things that I'll say that, everybody always, a lot of kind people out there, and I'm very flattered and humbled by it, but they're always like, you just truly care about everybody. And I know you don't get paid anything on me. And, the truth of the matter is yeah, that's just the beast of the business, right? But what I will tell you is that we've been blessed over and over and over by so many agents that have come to us and taken the coaching and gone to work with it and have done such a good job. And what's cool is when you teach somebody something and they tweak it and they make it better, and then you can learn from them. And then it's like a give instead of give and take. It's a give program. And that's what I was telling Chase last week is I get as much as I give when I'm in these playbook trainings, because I'm learning new things. And I think one of the most important things for you as an agent is, you see this pop up out there all the time, and it kind of aggravates me because it's FMOs that are coming up that don't always do this for the right reasons, but they'll be like, what are you getting from your FMO? What is an FMO really supposed to do? And what is an FMO like? And I look at those FMOs that are saying all this, and they're doing the same thing as the FMOs that they're condemning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't like that, because I don't think that bodes well for our industry. It looks like it's cutthroat, and it looks like it's cheap attacks. And I just don't play in those circles. But what I will say is, and I know everybody, when you say but, so I'll just say period, I will say this. I think when you're aligning with an FMO, you need to look at, do your principles align? Are they going to help you grow bigger or better than you did before? And I'll have agents that come to us and they don't change anything they were doing, even after we've coached them. And they'll go, well, I'm not doing any better than what I was over there. Okay, because you didn't take any other steps to improve. You just coming over thinking you got magic sauce. You got to work the system. And then you have agents that'll ask about Chase's program and they'll be, you mean I got to pay for that? Well, do you think Chase is going to do this for free? No, he's not. I mean, we bring different talents to this relationship. And I think as an agent, if you're looking at realigning with a new FMO, the first question is, why do I want to realign? The next question is the powerful what. What am I going to do different? You know, how am I going to use this system to make me better is the third question. And if you do those three things when you realign with somebody, like, I think Chase used a great term for this last week, we're specialists in what we do. But you still got to do the regiment that we give you. It's like going to a specialist. If he tells you, hey, you're going to keep having heart attacks if you don't lose 20 pounds. This is the diet. And you don't do the diet or you don't do the system, you're going to gain weight. You're not going to improve. And so I would just encourage you all to check yourself first, you know, because nobody, including me or Chase, wants you to invest any dollars that you're not going to receive value for it. Number two, we both coach that we are valuable at what we do and will bring value to your business. But it is a partnership. And you can't keep doing the same things you've always done. You've got to get out of that comfort zone, and you got to listen to some of his young guns that are asking the hard questions. And with cancer being, it was right there at short-term recovery care with Chase's numbers. And I can't tell you how many agents over the years have said, cancer insurance doesn't sell. And I go, really? Because, you know, we had a $4 million a month, and I can't believe that was just one agent in a back room signing a bunch of apps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's being sold at those volumes because it's needed. It's necessary. But you've got to ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
And then on recovery care, it's kind of the same conversation as cancer, right? Nobody wants to think of themselves. I mean, I don't consider myself 63 almost. I mean, that was a cool compliment I got from your team. They were like, we don't see you as that age either.
36.
And, you know, I love learning. And, you know, when I can learn that I can change one word or change something in my delivery, I'm going to try it. You know, that's some of the greatest pitchers I've seen in my time. Nolan Ryan has always said, you know, what made him great was that he just didn't take no for an answer. You know, he was like, I know how to pitch. I'm going to pitch. And as long as I'm throwing 90 miles an hour, I'm going to stay in the game. And there's not too many people that I would put as a great a pitcher as Nolan Ryan was. He struck out more people than anybody else because he pitched more. And how cool is that? Some of these hot shots coming up will never ever break his records because they don't throw as many pitches.
Yeah, on the pitches.
And that's what y'all have got to think about. If I want to stay in this game,
you gotta pitch, baby. You gotta pitch.
Yep. It's 100%. So, you know, I think that's what we do next, Chase, is over the next couple of 3 weeks, we think about maybe just bringing out one product.
It will pitch and catch.
Giving value.
Yeah, I do think we could get into some product stuff. And I think, listen to Gail on there, that was all phenomenal. And what I take away from that is to get different results, you literally have to do something different, right? You can't just keep trying harder and expecting different results. You need to try something different. And going back to the you problem, it's either you or who. You haven't met the right person. And hello, Galen and I have helped producers write millions of dollars in ancillary premium, or it's a you problem. You're working with the right person and you just aren't doing anything. And you got to get super serious to figure out which one that is. And when I look at this whole FMO conversation, I encourage collaboration. I'm working with so many FMOs across the country right now because I believe that collaboration needs to be the forefront of this industry again. I see a lot of people picking sides, or I'm better, you're better, no one's better, blah, blah, blah. Like, what if we all just work together to make the agent better, which ultimately makes the consumer win? And I'm seeing that on my side. I don't run around in those circles that don't, like Galen said. And when I'm looking for an FMO, my only advice is you have to ask yourself, is this the vehicle that can get me to where I want to go? If I'm living up in Michigan, can this FMO get me to Florida if I got to take a quick trip? That's a terrible analogy.
Yeah.
I'm saying. Okay.
That's what I want.
Is can the vehicle that I'm in get me where I want to go? And you know deep down if that's a yes or a no, but if it's a no, you got to do something about it. No one's going to come save you. You got to do something about it. But I can't say enough. Awesome just event last week. I had so much great feedback, and really,
So fun.
like we talked about, I mean, what we're trying to do and what we will do is we're helping agents generate more revenue per client, more revenue per employee. We're better protecting our clients in the marketplace, our Medicare beneficiaries. We're teaching you how to self-generate your own leads and hire, attract, develop more people. And yeah, we have a platform you can join. We have trainings you can join. There's no shortage of opportunity, but you got to commit or object.
I want to throw two things in before we leave today. I think one of the most prolific, there were a lot of great things last week on the sales side of it, and I've already given call outs to that. But having Emily, the new mommy, talk about branding was amazing. And having Chris talk about hiring was awesome. There were a lot of things brought on day one that I just thoroughly enjoyed. And I know a lot of you watching, and we appreciate you watching, and we appreciate you sharing this with other agents. Share it all over your Facebook, all over your social media, because that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the industry to be more united in what we do as an industry. I mean, that's how we fight for our industry. That's how we build our industry, because we're doing things that offset government cost, and government actually likes these other plans we're selling. They just don't understand them. But once they understand them and understand they don't cost a lot, they think they're a great deal for the consumer. But they have to have people explain it to them, because there's nothing out there just showing it how it works. So, appreciate everything you guys are doing out there. I know what you do is hard, and it's not the easiest every single day, but it is fun if you make it fun. And that's what I think we did last week. I give ourselves and our team last week an A+ in fun. And I think we overall accomplished what we wanted, and we want to hear back from you what you want in the next one. Somebody asked me last week why I've started collaborating with Chase, and my answer was very simple and very self-driven. He thinks like I do, so it's fun. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But it's also, he brings something that's exciting to me in our industry. It's somebody that truly cares about the agent's end result and the client's end result. And that's where I've always kind of bet my fortune on, is that the more I can do for people, the better I feel. Because you can't take it with you when you leave this world. And so I would just encourage you all to look deep as to how you can make it better for your clients and their family. If you really focus in on that, this ancillary deal is just not that hard.
No, not at all. And I have a confession. So I was perched up in the AV box, so I can kind of see everybody last week. Galen, I always watch the speakers and kind of the big shots, you know what I'm saying, that are in the audience. I want to see how people are acting when no one's looking. And I was kind of just peeking down at you quite a bit. I can't count how many times I saw you taking a picture or writing something down, like fully engaged, like open growth mindset. And that just tells me so much about what you've done, who you are, and why we're working together is like you just have another never ending growth mindset. And that's what I always tell people. Like, I can help anybody as long as they're willing to grow and they have a growth mindset. If you don't have that mindset, it's not the right partnership, and we're not going to jive more than anything. But this one was one of my favorites. We had a lot of fun, a lot of giggles. Been a good one. Like Galen said, if you're liking these, comment below, share them. Let us know what you want to hear more of. Like, the engagement obviously is so much fun for us, number one. But number two, we want to put out what you want. Like, we could talk about what we want to talk about all day, but what do you want to hear? And we'll make sure we're catered to that. So another episode of Coach G to Coach G. We went from Tuesday to Thursday. We still got it done.
Yep.
We haven't missed a week yet this year.
Nope.
We are showing up. Are you? That's the question. Commit or object. We'll see you next week.
All right. Have a great day. See y'all.
See you, Gail.